Hello, my favorite Questonians in the whole world. I just want to take a couple minutes, hopefully not longer than that, to explain part two. Hopefully, you did a really nice job of detailing your character, what they liked, what they disliked, what their spending habits were, what did they like to do in their free time, what kind of food do they like, are they vegan, do they like pizza for every meal? The more detailed that is, the better able you are to do this next part. If you need to go back in, I planned, 1.5, 2 days for part one. So if it's not detailed enough, please go back and put in some details. So this next part is you're actually researching, and I should have changed it too. It's not just the expenses, it's the income as well. Because hopefully you have, I feel like I'm using that word hopefully too much. You have decided on your profession. Are you going to be, is your character a maintenance worker? Do they work at McDonald's? Are they a teacher? Are they a marine biologist? What are they doing? I know some of you have already been exploring what professions you want to do through Zello, but also if you have a business class that you're taking currently right now. So hopefully you've decided on the profession, and look up, use those resources just to figure out their yearly. So what is the profession? So first, what is the profession? And then what is their yearly income? And you're going to have to take an average. Usually on Zello or on the internet, it gives you a range. So take an average of that. The difference, so add up the bottom end and the top end and divide by 2. So lowest plus highest divided by 2. Next, you need to decide or figure out income per paycheck. So many employers pay twice a month, first and the 15th. Some do it differently, once a month or every week, but many times it's that. So you're just going to take what you have in this column right here, and you're going to divide it by 2. Then you need to figure out how much is your income after taxes. So in this case, your take-home per paycheck would be your income per paycheck, so what you had here, and you're going to multiply it by 0.7. The reason is if you take so if you do this and you take a 30% off of the 100%, so this is taxes, what you have for your income is 70%. So you're going to multiply it by 0.7, and that will give you per paycheck. And then you're done with income, unless, of course, your person has a second income. Do they crochet fidgets, or do they paint houses on the weekends? If they have something else, do that research and you can add it here. But make sure it is realistic and you've done your research. If not, just skip that part. Next, we need to start the expenses. So again, please think about what it might take to run a household. So I've given you many situations down below, but you also need to think about the expenses your character might have based on what you decided for their habits. What type of spender are they? Like, for example, me, I know I spend way too much on my girls. I get the SOS, I need Pop-Tarts, and I send them Pop-Tarts. So I'm a spender when it comes to the girls. So think about what your character is like and what might their daily expenses be. Are they a hunter who takes, so you like think about that character. But this is also a great time to use your adults in your life. So for some of the things like the electric bill or the cell phone bill, you might have a better chance of asking the adults in your life. But if they're not available, if they're one of the essential workers that are working, look it up. Just make an estimate on what it might take. But again, research key to make this a realistic activity. The part probably that will change based on what you filled out the most is, do you have a monthly rent or are you a homeowner? So there's that part of part one where it said, are they renting? Are they a homeowner? What kind of house? So now you need to decide, and you need to actually do some research. Look up different houses, different apartments. Go to some of those like Shorewood, or some of the different sites where you can look up homes in the area that you said you were going to live in. So if you wanted to live in California, use that. Look up apartments and homes that are for sale in that area and look up the cost that they're asking. And then so if you're having an apartment, that should be given in there. But if you're buying your house, use a mortgage calculator to figure out your monthly payment. So first, I want to know, put a link to what house or apartment, and then figure if your monthly payment. If you get stuck on this point, please reach out. We can help you. Electric, phone, Wi-Fi, water bill, all of those, you should be able to ask an adult for help, or like I said, just look it up. Car payment. Your car payment might be based on your character. Is your character flashy? Do they have kids? Do they need a SUV versus a sporty car? So decide on your car. So what is your car? What type of car do you have? And then figure out monthly payments. And again, there are research options out there for you. Do you have house or renter's insurance, car insurance, medical insurance? These again are things you're going to have to look up and research or ask your parents about. I forgot to say that everything we've talked about so far should be a monthly fee, like a fixed fee. It happens the same time, just like our upfront cost. It happens the same every time, but it is a need. You can't go without electricity. Well, you shouldn't go without electricity or your monthly rent or the Wi-Fi bill or the water bill. These are things that you need to survive. So hopefully you will figure out those needs, because in part 3 we're going to talk about needs versus wants. The next category are monthly variable. Variable means it changes. Just like our variables in equations, they can change. It always might be an x, but the x might not be the same value every time. So they're variable expenses, but they're still needs. You need groceries. You need to pay your medical bills. You need the other essentials like toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, blah, 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 blah. So these are needs. So I want you to think about what you wrote about the types of food, and maybe I should have done something like this up here. So please feel free to copy and paste where you have your your list of what it is and the money. That probably would have been smarter for me. I apologize. But come up with a way to figure out how much groceries will cost you. I didn't go to Pick and Save, but I did an online order today, and my grocery bill was $150. But we've also had $300. It just depends on who's here and what they like. So if you're a single person, your monthly amount of groceries is going to be way less than if you are a parent with a family of 5. So again, what did you set up in part 1 as the living experience, and who's in your household? That will make a difference. That is the same with medical bills. I feel like medical bills would be the toughest to figure out. But, research what is an average amount of monthly medical bills that a person in your character situation would have. Other essentials. So think about what you use in your daily life: toilet paper, toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, paper towel, dishwashing soap, laundry detergent, like all those things that you use in your daily routine about your house that maybe you've never thought of. And I really want you to spend some time on this and research. Use that Walmart or Target or Amazon or Aldi, whatever. Use wherever you're going to shop, use that ad or go to their site and see Pick and Save. Figure out where you're shopping, what you're buying, and how much it is to get that total amount. If you need more space, write it off to the side or over here, because I know that we buy things every month that are necessities. So again, this is still a necessity. It's still a need. Depending on maybe some of you are living in the city and you don't have a car or a truck. But if you do, how much is it going to cost you for gas? Right now, way less expensive than 2 months ago. What about repairs? You might want to budget just like $25 a month for repairs. Usually we don't have repairs every month. It's like every 3 months where we have to do oil changes and things like that. So again, great place to get help from parents. And this last part, really important based on your character. What does your character like? What are his or her wants? Is their clothing or jewelry, are they a big spender? That was why I asked. Are they a big spender, or do they like to save? Did they decide to have cable and streaming packages? Like right now we have Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus. So I would have to put all of those down for our expenses. But they are not needs. They are definitely wants. Hobbies or free time. So are they buying books? Are they buying music? Are they buying video games? Do they have to bowl? I know we're in quarantine, so think of them without quarantine. One of the things that I have found, and I am ashamed to say it, subscription boxes. It's like getting a present every few months. So like I subscribe to CauseBox, which I need to not do anymore because of everything going on in the world. However, I really like it. I got my daughter, I don't even remember, owl something for her birthday, where she has 3 months of this book thing. So think of things that you wrote specifically about your character, list them here, and the extra expenses. Again, if you need more space, you can use this, or you can use a separate sheet of paper, or you could write it at the bottom. But Be true to your character. What did you say your character was in? Make them as real as possible. Like there's a real adult living in this world right now. This really goes with hobbies, but I also said gym membership. That could definitely have been up here. Dining out. Entertainment. Does your character go to the movies? Do they do concerts? So again, you might want to live in your fantasy world. If you could do anything, what would you do? And list it over here. So if you wanted to go to, oh my gosh, the only thing that came to mind right now, and I'm apologizing, Bon Jovi, what would that concert cost you? And of course, don't think of right this moment in time because everything is closed down. But if we weren't living in this time, all right, so that's a situation for this part. We are not expecting you to be done until Friday because we really want you to take a good amount of time and research filling this part out. So don't rush through it. Make your character as absolutely authentic as possible. You have to finish today. So for Tuesday, finishing part 1 and starting part 2. And then you have all of Wednesday to finish part 2 into Friday. Thursday, we have the new Zella. So take your time, do a nice job on this. Make your person more real than my picture. Because this is not a real person. So make them more real than this. Make them as lifelike as possible. All right, peace out.